So I'm glad you joined me for this because I posted my article this morning about the boys, which I love it because there's so many different layers to it, and satire is always really um, interesting, and especially in this day and age, political satire is something. So, and you volunteered to come on with me and talk about it, so thank you very much.
Of course. Yeah,
So
I
you,
love TV series and I really love this article. Like you did a really good job kind of pointing out like the beginning parts of like why this is kind of pretty relevant series for what's going on now, like almost like a
yeah.
prediction.
Did you start watching it when it first came out, or did you catch on to it later?
I waited. I had mentioned in my comments to this article when you first put it out that I stayed away from it because of the gore for a while. I was a little
Yes.
wary and I kind of tried and pulled back. But when I finally dug in and got into it, I think it was probably I think season 3 might have just come out.
Okay. So did you go back all the way to season one and catch and binge watch to catch up?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was all encompassing for a while, but when you do watch it like that, it is easier to kind of see the intention in that satire piece.
Did you now I started watching it right when it first came out actually, and I turned my son-in-law to onto it because I was like, you would like this show a lot. And I really looked at because there is a lot of gratuitous gore. There's a lot of stuff that's sexually explicit. It's very TV, MA, mature rated for adults. In no way is this superhero TV show appropriate for children. Um, when I first saw the gore, it immediately made me think of Quentin Tarantino movies
Yes.
where there is just, and especially like Kill Bill, if you have seen either or both of those, where it's almost in the style of a graphic novel,
Yes.
where
Yes.
it's cartoonish, like it's to the level where it's so over the top, it's cartoonish. That's kind of how it struck me. So, um, while it's kind of a shock value thing, it didn't turn me off. That was just kind of, but I also like Quentin Tarantino movies, so that could explain a lot.
Yeah, I think it really depends on what your kind of like background is in horror and in that
Yeah.
type of a film. Because I know like um I'm right on the cusp of Gen X and millennials. So I think I must
Okay.
have been like either right at the end of high school or at the beginning of university when the first Kill
Hmm.
Bill movie came out. And I can
Yeah.
remember watching that and just feeling like the gore was ridiculous. But when I rewatched it as an adult, you can see that there's a point to it. Like it's part of
Hmm.
intention, right? That shock,
Yep.
that kind of this is how um like this exaggeration is on
Hmm.
purpose, you know?
Well, and that is definitely a set of movies to me that I can imagine as a graphic novel. With The Bride. Just let alone, Uma Thurman's character didn't. It was The Bride, and
Yeah.
then the names of the assassins, all named after snakes, and that's very comic booky. And so that's the same thing I feel about The Boys too. Did you pick up on the political satire right away, or did it take a while to sink in?
I feel like when I was first watching it, it probably took me at least until the second season before I really kind of saw the vision of that part of
Hmm.
it. Although
Hmm.
I did start having that realization after the first few, like, wait, hey, this is kind of familiar. Wait, how could this be related kind of to what is going on in the world
Hmm.
now? you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I think I probably picked up on it before the end of the first season. Not in the first couple of episodes, but at some point in the middle of the first season, it became readily apparent like, yeah, there are a lot of parallels here. But I read that Eric Kripke, the showrunner, as he was writing it, um, he wrote a lot of this before stuff was coming to fruition. And it just so happened that the show storyline and reality were aligning. And then as time went on, he kind of just made it align more,
Absolutely.
basically. So he was kind of a visionary in that sense of, yeah, I see the writings on the wall. I see what's coming over there. Um, do so I wonder what do I want to ask in were there any characters that you felt more aligned with than others?
Oh gosh. Um, like I just like any good comic kind of story or even superhero story, I really kind of aligned with the underdogs. Like Huey was like, one of my
Hmm.
favorites from the very beginning.
Hmm.
So incredibly well written in the way that you just wanted to identify with him. Like throughout most of it, I felt at least like I wanted to
Hmm.
align with those decisions he's making. And as things are going on, and you're kind of saying, "Why are you doing this?" and all of those things, you
Yeah.
can see like, wow, if this is just a regular person in this kind of a situation, like how ridiculous, like, you know what I mean, like how ridiculous it would seem and how out of the blue things kind of happened.
Yeah, and you raise a great point, which is there are a lot of gray characters in this. I
Hmm.
mean, they're definitely aligned with one side or another. Like Huey is definitely aligned with what we would typically label as the good guys. But
Yeah.
Huey and Butcher both have a lot of gray in their character, and there are definitely moral choices they make that, you almost are like, would I make have made that same choice in that situation?
Yeah.
Um, and you kind of see that what do you like a value creep, right? Like they are more and more um making choices that are questionable, morally questionable, as the story goes on, for as a means justifies the end sort of uh moral judgment, or not a
Yeah.
moral judgment, but as a way to justify moral justification,
Absolutely.
as a
Well,
way
you
to
see them
justify
kind of,
what they're doing, right?
exactly, you see them kind of go from
Mhm.
the traditional hero, good kind of characters, and then you see them grapple with life
Mhm.
and try to justify, um, like you said, kind of these morally gray areas where
Mhm.
do the means justify the end. And like that was like something that I was contemplated a lot throughout, especially towards the later seasons. Like,
Mhm.
this is a reality of just everyday life, regardless of what the political climate is. There's people who, you get passionate about something, and then there's some people that can completely lose sight while they're trying to pursue that thing. So I thought that that was a really good use of those quote good characters, right?
I do too. I always enjoy those ambiguity that's in a character that you love, whether you love to love them or love to hate them.
Absolutely, yeah. Did you
Yeah.
watch? Have you watched, or are you going to watch the spinoff? Gosh, I can't remember what it's called.
Oh, it's called something V, Gen V.
Oh yeah,
I think it's
that's what
called
it is.
Gen V.
Yeah,
I have not watched it. My son-in-law did, and he said it was really good. But I think it's along the same lines, and it has some of the same. There's at least I know one character that goes from the original series over into Gen V, one of the female characters, but I don't know too much about it. So At some point, I might watch it,
Yeah.
but I
You might
was
consider it because some of these
okay.
themes do kind of jump. And like some of the great things that you mentioned in the article also kind of get a bit of a side story, you know, in that. I
Oh,
had
okay.
read right after that there is a bit of timeline jumping between the two, and that Gen V might continue to go on.
Okay.
That is completely a rumor, not
Hmm.
anything that I have looked up, but
Okay.
I would just love to see some of these predicted things for season 5, like the Musk-like character that you spoke
Mm-hmm.
about.
Mm-hmm.
How is that going to kind of spread, you know, within the universe?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That'll be interesting. Well, I think it's hilarious that Elon Musk came out and totally bashed the episode where he was mocked. And the writers like, I my job is done. You know,
Yeah,
that's the best review I could have gotten. So
absolutely.
fantastic.
Yeah, well, it's also really kind of a bit ironic that it's like one of the darlings of the start of Prime TV, and I don't know whether they call it in the States, but like of the that kind of Amazon channel. Because really
Mhm.
you
The
see,
streaming channels.
yeah, you see the heads
Yeah.
of some of these larger streaming platforms, or maybe all of them at this point,
Yeah.
aligning themselves with the Homelander character, basically, right?
Right. You know, I have to ask myself if this had started or if the idea had been pitched today, would it have made it? Because I doubt it.
Oh,
I
wow.
doubt it would have gotten airtime if it, if
Yeah.
somebody was trying to get it going today.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, this was a big budget thing for them.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, there it was, a 5-season investment, and I
right.
I think they went into it ha- wanting it to be 5 seasons, and hoping it would get continued that way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I really like Jack Quaid's character a lot. First of all, Jack Quaid is kind of a darling of the industry because of who his parents are. Um, being Meg Ryan and Dennis Quaid. And his character really starts out very innocent. And so one of the things I like to do is kind of look at each character's arc through the whole series. And he really grows up because he has to,
Yeah.
circumstances forced him to. He starts out as kind of very naive and you know idealistic, and does not end up that way at all. But
Yeah. And that growth and that like rise and fall, you know, throughout, I think that was very well done, because I think
mhm,
a lot of us in life don't necessarily follow that one trajectory, right? So I think
right, that is
really.
so true.
Mhm.
Well, I'm going to be having a series of articles on this because there's so many different ways you can slice and dice this. There really is a lot to it for something that's seemingly so straightforward on the surface. So next week I have an article coming out about um, how the series portrays sexual repression
Mm.
and how sexual repression of the characters leads to their politics. So that should be a really good one. So I hope everybody's on the lookout for that. I'm going to publish that a week from today. And then I am currently working on another article that's going to look specifically at the female archetypes in this and the different roles the women play specifically in this, because they each have very distinct um, roles to play in either preserving or attempting to dismantle this very toxic system. And so I'll be looking at that too. Although I'm not sure when I'm going to publish that one because I'm going to be headed to Canada.
Right?
So
You're going to be going to the East Coast, right?
yeah, I will be on the East Coast. I'll be going to St. John's and to Quebec City. So I'll be over there for 10 days. And it's weird because I'm here in Colorado where I'm just finally able to put away a lot of most of my winter clothes. And I think I'm going to be getting some of them back out again because, or at least I'll be dressing in layers while I'm there, if nothing else. But I also have to prepare for rain and getting wet and things because we'll be out on a Zodiac on the water. And
Yeah, well, you
so,
guys get to go look at all the cool wildlife over there, and
yeah, the seabirds. I'm most excited about seeing the puffins. We'll get to maybe see some glaciers. I think it's probably a little early for whale season, but who knows? Maybe we'll see.
yeah, we get orcas, but I don't know if we ever are not in a season of where you can go out whale watching there.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. That's hard to imagine. I used to live in Hawaii and we had a very definite whale season.
Yes, yes. Oh, and I'm sure that
Um
I'm wrong, and I'm sure there is. I just know that I can see a whale watching boat from my condo, and so I
yeah.
often see people going out
Yeah.
there. And
Lynette, I am going for both actually. So we're going to St. John's for Jason's work because he's a photographer. So we're going to be hosting a group of his clients there to for the wildlife and nature photography. And then Jason and I are spending a couple of days in Quebec City because I kind of want to check out uh, some historic sites that are relevant to my family history. So around the Filet du Roi, the daughters of the king from whom I'm descended. So I'm descended from seven of them. So
oh,
yeah, in another life, I guess I should have been a royal. But anyway, so yeah, we're going for both. It is going to be an amazing adventure. So Jay, thank you so much. It was really nice to meet you finally
yeah, it was so
after
nice
all
to talk
these
to you.
weeks of chatting back and forth online. Thanks for reading my article and commenting on it and for chatting with me about it because it's always nice to have somebody to bounce my ideas off of too. So I
Yes.
really appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much for the invite, and everyone, make sure go read this article if you haven't
Yep.
already, and subscribe to Shayla's other work.
Thank you so much.
Um,
It is
yeah,
on my Latchkey Hour site. I published it. I have three publishing sites. So I have, if you go to my main page, The Rebel Crone, there will be a button there that you can click to go to Latchkey Hour, where I do a lot of stuff relevant to pop culture and Gen X specifically. So that's where these articles will all be published. So thanks so much.
awesome. Thanks so much.
Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye bye.